Okay, this is beef with cheesy dumplings. This is a great meal to make. You get to use the stove, the slow cooker, and the oven. So let's get at it. We need our ingredients first. There's a couple stalks of celery chopped up. And we'll put it in a bowl. Next up, a carrot. And of course, you can vary how much you want to put in. We're not huge carrot fans, cook carrots anyway. So one was enough. You want to cut up two, cut up two. It's not going to hurt anything. Extra celery stalk if you want, same thing. Mushrooms, one container of mushrooms all chopped up like that. And that's going in our bowl. Well, most of it anyway, because no matter how I try, whether I do that or use the little handle at the front, they all spill out one way or another. It's probably just the way I do it. We need an onion, but we're going to chunk it, so it's not going to be finely chopped. And once again, I guess if you want to, you could. And there were no problem with this. They were pretty chunky. It will fall apart while you're cooking this. So let's get that in a bowl too. Our bowl's getting pretty full. I thought I had a big enough one. I think we're just going to have enough room to fit everything. It doesn't have to sit there long though. Look at that. One full bowl, that's going to cook down to nothing. Some garlic. And basically I just took the cloves. This is how you peel them. You give them a little smash with your hand, just like that. And the paper comes right off. It's really cool. Two big cloves or a bunch of little ones like I got. I didn't want to let them go to waste. So I ended up peeling them all. That works out to, well, that probably works out to like 2.5 big cloves or maybe even 3. But if you like garlic, hey, this will work out just fine, just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to smash these up a little bit. We're not cutting them up or anything, and they're going to kind of mush around in the slow cooker too. So just like all the other veggies, they'll cook down so nice you won't even notice they're in there. So there's our bowl, ready to roll. Let's put it aside. Now, with this, we need some liquid for the slow cooker. And I've got one of the bigger cans of diced tomatoes. You only need half that amount. So I'm carefully dividing them up. It's about 1.5 cups per container. Half the container I'll put a lid on her and throw her in the fridge. And that's what we're going to use for a slow cooker. One frying pan, a little bit of oil, just about a tablespoon, medium to maybe medium-high heat. And in goes our 1 pound of stewing beef that I've already chopped up into small pieces, just like that. A little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Now if you really want to sear them, you know what, put them in smaller batches than I did. But this will still work out enough. Mostly I know that because I know what it's like at the finish line, so I know how this turned out. Spoiler alert, really good. So what I'm trying to do here is actually sear the meat and carefully flip each one over. And when we're done, we're going to put it in a little container, just so we can get it off the stove, of course. And there's our stewing beef. Back into the frying pan, a little bit of oil, And all those veggies that we chopped up, that big bowl, go in the frying pan. And we're going to let these cook down. Not all the way, but enough so they start getting brown on the edges. Okay, after 5 minutes, our veggies are starting to brown up. That's where we want them. So now this is a 1/4 cup-ish of flour. And I probably could have used a little bit of liquid, but we're going to mix it all around. Let the flour combine with the veggies. And you know what? Let's just stop right there. Let's go create. So into our bowl from whence it came. And here's our slow cooker, all ready to go. Well, just got to spray the bowl with a little bit of cooking spray. We don't want it to stick. And we're good to go. So in the bottom goes our stewing beef and all those veggies that we just finished cooking. See, the steam's still coming off them, they're so hot. Now along with this is supposed to go 4 slices chopped up with bacon. I didn't do it, and I don't think it affected the recipe whatsoever. I just didn't have any bacon out and thawed, so once again you got to work with what you got. This here is 1 cup of beef stock. And now the fun part, red wine. 1 cup of dry red wine. I don't even know what I had. I just cracked it open and put a cup in. Now I'm noticing this is going to get pretty liquidy because in goes our tomatoes. And this is really going to get a lot of water. So I didn't think this would quite work that well, but it does. You got to have some faith in the recipe you're following, that it's mostly going to work out. Now right there is 2 sprigs of rosemary, 2 sprigs of thyme, which I just tied together with a little butcher's twine, and a couple bay leaves. We'll put the lid on, put it on low. It's going to cook for 6 hours. Meanwhile, let's make the dumplings. So we need self-rising flour. That's 1.25 cups of flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and very carefully, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we'll mix all that together. That creates self-rising flour. Now I also needed a 1/2 cup of cornmeal, which couldn't find it. I know I had it, but I couldn't find it, so I grabbed a box of Jiffy cornbread mix. That's what I'm going to use. Now here, in not any particular order, is a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of rosemary, all chopped up, and a 1.5 teaspoons of chives, all chopped up nice and fine. And of course, cheese. Handful of cheese. And then the liquid. That is about a little less than 1/4 cup of melted butter and 1 cup of buttermilk. And we'll mix all that together till it gets ooey and gooey. We'll put it aside. Now here we are at the 6-hour mark-ish. That's probably about 6.5 hours. Smells good. I haven't even stirred our beef because I don't want to lose the rosemary and thyme and the bay leaves. I want to be able to dig them out easy enough. So hopefully they've done their job. Now we'll give it a stir. And you see how much liquid's there? I was really concerned that that was way too much liquid. Yeah, it works out in the end. If you want a little thicker, I guess you could add a little more cornstarch, but it still worked out fine. So here's our baking dish. We'll give that a little cooking oil spray. Just like that. So we've done the frying pan. We've done the slow cooker. And now this is going to go in the oven. So here's our mix out of the slow cooker. And believe me, it was hot at first. I had to let it sit so the handles would cool off so I could use it. Now our dumpling mix that we just made, all I'm doing is taking a tablespoon and making little dumpling things. Now I think smaller is better in this case because it really was tough to get the middle cooked, and it's kind of hard to tell too once it's gotten cooking. But here we are. We're going to cover this up loosely with tin foil into the oven, 400 degrees, 10 to 15 minutes. You might want to go longer. You're going to take it out very carefully. Try taking tin foil off with oven mitts. It's not easy. And there we go. It's not quite done yet. So the rest of our cheese, which is about 2 good handfuls, maybe you want to put more on. I wanted to cover the whole thing. The only thing you got to remember is the more we put on, the longer you might want to have it baked. So back into the oven it goes, uncovered of course. I would give it 15, maybe even 20 minutes. It's not going to hurt it. Let all those dumplings get nice and cooked, and here we are. That is our beef and cheesy dumpling dinner. Yummy. I love the smell of this dish, and I can't wait to dig into it. Into a bowl, and now into my tummy. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.